Welcome everybody to
The Brink.
As we are bringing you, I don't know, you said something. We are bringing you a on-the-road edition of The Brink. For the first time in a long time we've actually done this, recording as we move. You can hear the background noise of a moving vehicle because we are sitting in a car presently on the road driving from the beautiful city of Invercargill, New Zealand to the even more beautiful, somewhat of a city, Queenstown, New Zealand. I'm in the passenger seat, and joining me, as she always does 99% of the time, Mallory, driving a car Foster. Hello, Mallory.
Hi, Ben.
How are you going today, driving currently?
So good, except you keep turning down the freaking heat.
Well, because it's actually really hot in this car, so...
Freezing.
It's freezing. It's actually really hot. I don't know what on earth you're smoking over there.
You're wearing like 10 layers.
I'm wearing 2 layers. We are about, 45 minutes outside of Queenstown, 45 minutes to an hour or so. Surrounding us right now, we can see myriads of mountains and hills. A car has just overtaken us. I see snow on the mountains over there. We are heading up to go witness an international ice hockey match between Australia and New Zealand. They are playing each other in a 3-game series as part of the New Zealand Winter Games, which are a thing. They have, I think, 26 sports across the spectrum. And this is one of the few that I believe actually has international competitors in it. I know some of the others do have international competitors, but a lot of them I think are just local-based athletes. But pretty exciting. Do they have a British Columbia Winter Games at all that you know of?
The Can-Ams just happened, and there's like... no, there's definitely BC Games. Yeah.
Are you talking about the Pan-Ams? Or the Can-Ams? Is there a difference?
There's Pan-Ams and there's Can-Ams.
So is Can-Ams like just...
Canada.
Well, are they not called the Canada Games? Because the Canada Games, I know we talked a little bit about with Colin because they were in Winnipeg last year, and he went to lots of Canada Games events, but I've never heard of the Can-Ams. And
possibly the same thing that we just called 2 different names.
It's interesting. I don't think we'd ever have an Australia Winter Games, but anyway, we are in a very small town right now where there seems to be a bar and a brown trout cafe. What even is this town? Did you see a sign?
I did, but did I read the sign? No, it started with an A, maybe.
Have you noticed that I haven't asked you to stop and pull over for any signs today? Are you happy about that?
I am, now that you mention it.
You pay attention to a lot of things too. This is maybe the most happening. Athol is the name of the place. Oh, this is that place we went to last time, remember? And it sounded like asshole with a lisp. You're nothing but a stupid asshole. There you go, folks. If you want to come to a thriving metropolis in New Zealand, head to Athol. We drove through it in the space of 30 seconds, and there was a woman walking a dog, a cafe, and everything else along those lines. Who are you cheering for tonight between Australia and New Zealand?
I feel that I need to say Australia, but honestly, New Zealand.
Now I've got to ask, why on earth would you even remotely think that?
What do you mean?
Why do you want to go for New Zealand?
Pride in the place where I live.
I'm sorry, what about pride in the man that you're marrying and you used to live?
But you're here, so you're cheering for them yourself.
So if I ended up going to a Canada versus USA game and said I was going for the USA because we were living in the USA, would you be offended?
I would murder you.
Now, so am I capable of doing that to you?
No.
Okay, I might not distract her here for the moment because we're stuck behind a slow car and she probably needs to overtake this car. But I am somewhat offended. Somebody actually asked me during the week too. They were like, "Oh, who are you cheering for?" And I'm like, "Is that even remotely?" There's a doggy in the back. I'm like, "Is that even remotely a question?" Like,
New Zealand fly fishing school. Did you see that sign?
I did. We can go join a fly fishing school. Well, like, I'm sorry. Like, New Zealand, you're a beautiful country, and I'm glad that I'm living in you. But I'm not, like, I will go for the All Blacks if you're in the final, but I'm not cheering for the All Blacks. I'm not cheering for New Zealand in anything. There's that cool bridge that we said we are going to stop at that one time, and we never did. So, no, why? No, don't go for New Zealand. Like, what's wrong with you?
I'm going for Australia.
Thank you very much. Like, wow, that's just incredibly rude. But this is actually really exciting because it's the first time I've ever been to a proper international ice hockey match. Obviously on this show we've covered a couple of times. We went to USA versus Canada in the exhibition series that they had in Australia a couple of times, organised by our good friend Kerry Goulet. But the grand scheme of things, they're not the most realistic games of hockey. Fights breaking out every 2 seconds. Every game's like 20-18 basically, and they always end up in a shootout. So they're obviously very much exhibition style games to get people into the sport in this part of the world because it's been in New Zealand. But this is proper games. This is I interviewed the coach of New Zealand, and we might actually play that on this week's episode for you. We did that for the Ben and Mal Variety Hour, but he was saying that essentially outside of the World Championships each year, this is basically the only opportunity they get to play international games. It's not something that they frequently do. And I think that's something that's, like, because Team Canada don't often play outside the World Championships, do they? It's not a common thing that you have friendly games in international hockey.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Which is strange, because like in soccer, rugby, you will have other tournaments throughout the year. But I guess if you're having World Championships every year in ice hockey, whereas a lot of World Championships are every 4 years. So it's going to be interesting. New Zealand are ranked 40 in the world. Australia are ranked 35 in the world. Where do you think Canada are ranked?
Within the top 3.
I believe you're still the number 1 country in the world, even though you didn't win the World Championship. I think you got bronze in the World Championship. Finland won it. No, you lost to Finland in the final. That's right. You got silver in the World Championships here. But you don't care about the World Championships in Canada, don't you? It's all about the juniors.
It's all about the juniors and the Olympics.
Well, why do they like the juniors better than the non-juniors?
I have no idea.
It's an interesting fact. Like, is it the up-and-comers? Because a lot of the NHL players maybe don't go to the World Championships.
I could not tell you, honestly. Like, I just know that when the juniors are on, like, you always talk about the juniors, but you never really talk about the World Championships.
Fascinating. I mean, I don't think you'd have that in any sport in Australia, really, when it comes down to that. Certain World Championships are happening in a couple of weeks that this country is going to be involved in heavily, the Rugby World Cup, and you're quite invested in the Canada-New Zealand game, which we will brave going to a local establishment with some Canadian paraphernalia to cheer for. Are you expecting 100-0 loss in that game?
Could you imagine if we won? What an upset.
If you beat New Zealand in the World Cup, this country would shut down. There would be an inquiry into how it happened. That would be the equivalent of New Zealand beating Canada in a game of ice hockey at a World Championship. Like, not even joking. That is how big of a deal that would be.
I think it would be great.
It would be fantastic. I would not be opposed to that.
What a time to be a Canadian in New Zealand.
You might not make it out of that bar alive.
Probably.
The last World Cup in 2015, Japan beat South Africa, and that's regarded as the greatest upset in the history of rugby, because rugby's a very centralised sport in which there's only maybe 5 or 6 countries that realistically can win the World Cup, and of that 5 or 6, realistically only 3 of them have a chance. And then realistically out of those 3, it's probably only New Zealand. Whereas, like, I guess the Ice Hockey World Championship...
No, that's a hawk.
We have eagles flying above us. Realistically, there's maybe a few more, but again, it's a very, like... The World Championship Division 1 is usually the same 8 countries every year, but, you know, Finland won it this year, Sweden can win it, Russia can win it, Czech Republic can win it, Germany obviously made the gold medal game at the Olympics. Would you like to go get some honey?
Yeah.
We apparently might be getting honey. Germany made the final last year, remember, of the Olympics. That was beat Canada in the semis. That sucked. But yes, Queenstown, outside of what we're doing there, what is the most exciting thing about going to Queenstown for the night?
Kmart?
Exactly. This is just showing how little there is in Invercargill, because Kmart's still a couple of months away from opening. But, like, anybody listening back home, they know the experience of going to...
They're going to the honey shop.
Do you really want to go to the honey shop? I guess we're not going to the honey shop. There's a juicy.
Free tasting.
Can we can't have honey.
Shut up.
All right, I was about to say. anyone back in Hobart knows the thrill of going to Kmart, 24-hour Kmart, going there at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's fantastic.
It's going to be 24 hours, though.
I assume it'll probably close at 9 like the warehouse. But can you explain the warehouse to our non-New Zealand listeners about how it compares to Kmart?
It's the poor man's version of Kmart.
But it's not even like... Would you consider it to be like American Kmart? Because American Kmart's pretty shit, right?
No, American Kmart is better than the warehouse.
Okay, but it's still pretty shit though, right?
Yeah.
It's
just like really bad quality, but also really cheap bad quality.
I think the thing with the warehouse is like they do their best, and there is some decent stuff there, but for the
finding the right things from the warehouse, I think.
And it's also like we bought all our plates and cups and cutlery, and they just don't last. You've only what?
Broken 4 cups so far.
But like the cutlery is kind of rabbity, gross, and yeah. So we are very much looking forward to Kmart opening in Invercargill. But the fact that we're excited to go to Kmart in Queenstown, it's a big thing. Like, people appreciate Kmart, I think, and that's a great thing. It's only really been in the last 5 years that Kmart became a bit of a cult thing. Like, growing up, Kmart was just there. It was no different to Big W. It was just a store you would go to if you need stuff. But like now, it's like this big cult thing. Like, you've got to go to Kmart and buy cool stuff, and it's just better, right? Kmart, proud sponsors of the Brink. Do you think we can get them on board?
Oh, can we please?
Like every week? I would gladly sit here and haul myself out to Kmart every single week and just be like, hey, look, this great cup holder. Only $5 from Kmart. How great is it, Mallory?
So great. If they gave us a sponsorship, how much sponsorship money from Kmart do you think we could get?
I would be happy with $10 because we need money. No, Kmart, I want more than $10. Like, give us $100 a week, and that would make a difference.
$100 a week is a lot. I get like $100 a month.
I would haul myself out to pretty much any company really to get some money on this show, because A, it would be great for listeners, and B, you never say no to, you know,
sponsorship.
Those dollar bills, y'all. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to. I was going to say this weekend, but we're only up for the night. I work this morning, you work tomorrow, so it's kind of just a flash in the pan drive up there. But these things are fun to do.
I agree.
You know, like we kind of moved to this country and said like, oh, we'll go on road trips whenever we've got free days. And
I think that as people who aren't originally from wherever it is we live, Invercargill, Queenstown is not that far away. Whereas I think that people from Invercargill think it is.
I agree. And I think Invercargill is a town of, you know, like we had that with Jamie, didn't we? When he's like, oh, no, don't drive me home. It's too far away. It was barely an 8-minute drive.
Yeah.
And so like Invercargill had that mindset where one side of the city to the other, that's too far away for you to drive. Now, Mallory and I lived in Brisbane. Mallory grew up in Victoria. I grew up in Hobart, which by no means big cities. But compared to Invercargill, they are. Whereas, you know, one end of the city to the other, including suburbs, is 45 minutes to an hour. And Brisbane, I mean, we were living nearly an hour out of the city, and that was just, we commuted every day to and from the city, and we were fine with it. Like, you just get used to it. So it's cute that these little Invercargillites think it's fun. So you're right. Like, I mean, technically Queenstown is closer to us than Dunedin, only just. It is. It's like, I think 2 hours and 10 minutes to Queenstown, like 2.5 hours to Dunedin. And I think kilometre-wise, we are closer to Queenstown. But Queenstown's not a city as such. It's an extendedly large resort town. I mean, anyone who's been to Queenstown will know what we're talking about. It's very touristy. Anyone you talk to about Queenstown who's lived in New Zealand for a while say, oh, it's not the same as it used to be. That's turned so much into a tourist thing. But Dunedin, like, bless you, New Zealand, for thinking Dunedin's a big city. It's really not. But anyway, but I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have fun. We'll do a bit of a piece from the game itself. We might even fit in a bit of commentary, how we feel. Might even chat to some people if we feel the need to. We say all these things now, and of course, probably you're looking at our promo thing, and there might not be any of that. But look, I miss commentating on ice hockey. So even if we do a 5-minute stretch, we can do that a little bit as well. So and plus, I can't say I've ever commentated with a Canadian in the commentary box, which whether or not she's going to actually bring content to the commentary and expert comments, at least it sounds professional having a Canadian in the commentary box, right?
Sure.
You know what a slap shot is, and a deke, and the crease is, and all those sort of things.
I do, but can I pick up these words and say them quick enough as the plays are happening is the real question. No is the answer.
We will bring you some form of coverage and commentary from that. So we are looking forward to another extended cops going around here at the moment. We'll speak to you very shortly, Miss Forster.
Yep.
Big time to be an ice hockey fan right now in New Zealand and Australia, as well as the return of the Trans-Tasman Challenge is happening as part of the New Zealand Winter Games in Queenstown. Australia taking on New Zealand in the best of 3 game series. And joining us on the line here today, it's a pleasure to welcome the coach of the New Zealand Ice Blacks, Mr. Anatoly Korozov. Anatoly, first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for giving us your time today.
No, it's all good.
As I said, exciting time to be an ice hockey fan, and I can imagine for particularly both New Zealand and Australia that having these opportunities to have these international matches must be a great moment, because outside, I guess, of the World Championships, there's not a lot of opportunity for you guys to be able to play these games. So how important is a series like the Trans-Tasman series to be able to get the best players from both countries to be able to battle it out for the trophy?
It is very important because, as you say, we only have a few games at the Worlds. We typically play 5 games, and sometimes we have a few games before that. So having an extra 3 games, that's half our season, if you know what I'm going to say. That's important, and that's a chance for us to see all the young guys, because we play home, obviously, and prospects and potential, and, so it's a great opportunity, both in terms of development and in terms of good hockey as well.
And of course, adding to that, the slight little rivalry, Trans-Tasman, Australia versus New Zealand. Getting the fans involved as well. It must be an exciting time for you to be able to coach and, I guess, experience this rivalry and bring it to the ice, bring it to Queenstown, and sort of keep that rivalry alive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You take any sport, Australia, New Zealand it's great, eh? And ice hockey is nothing exceptional, and Queenstown is probably the most ice hockey town in New Zealand. So we have great support here, the fans are loud, and ice rink is supportive, and good ice as well. So it's great, that's great hockey and great opportunity.
In terms of your time at the head of the Ice Blacks, Anatoly, how have you seen, I guess, the development not only of the side, but I guess the sport itself in New Zealand over the years? Is it continuing to increase its presence, do you feel, out there, or do you feel as though there's maybe a little bit more that can be done?
Well, there's always something can be done. Don't get me wrong, we're getting better, but the thing is, other countries are also getting better. Mm-hmm. So we kind of play at our level for quite some years now, and I think our next goal should be to get division up, pretty much where Australia play. And I think we have enough players of, the talent to be there, but it's getting difficult to get all these guys together, because obviously it's not professional here, and, players have other commitments and, all that stuff. So that's the main challenge for us, because if we did get all the best players, we would be very competitive. But that's the problem, that sometimes we just cannot get all the best players.
And for these series, sort of how is the team looking in terms of strength? Sort of what level of competition can the fans expect when they're seeing players from both sides out on the ice? Are we looking near full strength, or kind of sort of getting there a little bit towards that?
No, well, we're missing a few players, of course, and still as always, but we're still, strong team. That's kind of core of the team we're usually going to have for the world chance. Because, as I said, we never get all the best players either. So, always. So, this team is really pretty much what we usually have. Mm-hmm. So, it's not any better or worse. But, yeah, we have, we're missing a few key players, but equally we have a few good young players as well. So, I think and for us, it's a good test as well, because all this playing, from us, so we can kind of see where we are at.
Sort of moving forward then towards, I guess, next year's World Championships. And it is kind of, as you said, to the goal then is to keep moving up in the tier section of the World Championships, because it's that promotion relegation, I guess, where you find that real test of where you are at a team. And you want to obviously, I mean, I guess the ultimate goal would be go to the very top, make the Olympics. But short term, it's, improving as best as you can each time you get to those World Championships and seeing if you can move up towards them.
Yeah, that's the main thing. For me as a coach, I'd like to see players developing and getting better. That's the main thing for me. I mean, and I can say that we have quite good young blood coming up. But with limited seasons here in New Zealand, our international season is only 16 games plus finals and playoffs, which is realistically very, very difficult for players to get real development. So we're trying our best. We're just doing, the camps and all that stuff, but still, they have limitations with abilities, and and a lot of them go play overseas, so that's kind of better opportunity for them. Yeah, we'll see some development. When I started here quite a while ago, and what we have now is a bit different. But as I say, other countries are also stepping up, so we are not just the only country who's developing.
Do you think that's just a testament to also the popularity of the sport around the world? I mean, more people in any corner of this planet can basically go to NHL.com, get a league pass and watch it, and sort of more opportunities for people to be exposed to the sport. And that's obviously positives for the sport overall, whether it be in New Zealand or anywhere else, because people then are exposed, and then that hopefully, particularly here in New Zealand, will lead them to maybe putting on the skates, picking up a stick and giving it a crack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, technology, it's amazing now. You can watch pretty much any champion. I mean, NHL is obviously the best one, but, you can watch KHL, you can watch Swedish, German league, they're all online now. Yeah, and yeah, you're right. So people now go online to where they can watch and hopefully will give us a little bit more players. But we also need to give them a little bit more opportunities in terms of where they're going to play, because we all have very few ice rinks here. So we need to build a few more ice rinks, and that ultimately will give us numbers, which ultimately will give us better competition. So it's not one thing, it's always a complex.
And I can imagine, though, this series as well, going back to kind of how important it is, as you said, kind of like half your year, half your season, I guess, kind of with these 3 games, but also beating Australia would be pretty nice, and retaining that trophy. Are you confident going into these 3 games that you can keep that trophy over on this side of the Tasman?
Well, that's the plan. I mean, we have competitive team, and we want to keep the trophy home, but equally we're here to battle. It's not going to be easy, but that's the plan for us. So the game will tell who's better, but we are here to win.
And of course, basically all the games are, at least one of them sold out, one's nearly sold out, and I believe the third's on the cusp of being sold out too. So that must also be a bit of a boost, particularly for some of these younger players who maybe haven't played in front of more than a couple of hundred people, that you can kind of get a bit of a crowd there, a bit of an atmosphere, and I guess really light that the rink up over the next couple of nights.
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, all of those players have played in Queenstown, and Queenstown has always kind of sell out. So they all have this experience, and it's always loud. But, it's just a little bit different responsibility and level of competition. I mean, NZHL is still NZHL. When you're playing for your country, no matter where you play, it's a little bit different. So I guess for those young players, it will be an outstanding experience.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, of course. The Mighty Roos from Australia taking on New Zealand Ice Blacks across a 3-game series in the Trans-Tasman competition. And Anatoly, pleasure to have you here on the show. Best of luck throughout the competition. It's hard for me to say that to you. I am an Australian, so offering you best of luck is kind of a bit hard for me. But I'll say it sincerely, as I'm speaking on behalf of New Zealand right now. So best of luck for the 3-game series.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So as you can probably hear in the background, with maybe the most obviously generic ice hockey song in the history of ice hockey song, we are at the Queenstown Ice Arena preparing for the very first game of the Trans-Tasman series between Australia and New Zealand. Mallory is sitting next to me.
I am. I'm here. I'm excited. There's a Canadian flag in the building.
They also played a very prominently hockey-based song, the good old hockey game, which instantly brought you some memories of, I guess, being at home and being excited. And how did the vibe excite you when you heard that?
I just got so excited. I thought it was a real hockey game all of a sudden, and that was going to be a great night.
Now, this is the first time we have seen a proper international game that isn't an exhibition game. I mentioned that earlier. If you're listening to the Brink, if you're listening to the Metamau Variety Hour, though you haven't heard that before, do you think that adds a little bit of extra excitement, that this isn't just the Canucks or the Royals or something like that? This is an entire country playing for themselves?
I don't know. I think on one hand, I'm excited because I feel like it's going to be a good level of hockey. But on a completely other hand, I am expecting a good level of hockey to be NHL level, and I know it's not going to be at that rate. So I think I'm a little bit in between at the moment. Not sure what I'm expecting.
Now, I was actually pretty impressed with the fact that we were able to get a park basically right outside the venue. The few times I've been to Queenstown, parking is definitely at a premium. We nearly thought we got very lucky with that extra spot, but
yes, we watched and watched and watched, and there was a guy who was leaving, and ta-da.
I'm also very sad that I did not bring my Australian flag. I left it in our room, which makes me sad. There's a couple of Aussies sitting behind us. I might see if they want to chat to me in a minute, see if we can get that. But we've got the teams, I think, are about to come out on the ice. There's a child with an Australian flag, a child with a New Zealand flag. Now, we talked about this earlier, I feel, but you initially said you were going to go for New Zealand. But now...
But then I got in big trouble.
You got in very big trouble. And we have a very American-Canadian sounding intro, and... Yeah! Woo! Australia are coming out. I think that was a bigger cheer here than maybe we anticipated for that. So let's see here. Number 5, Pataki. We like him. Number 18, Nadine. There we go. Nadine. It's almost, what's his name? Sidine, isn't it? That it rhymes. Like, do you think he's going to have the same skill level?
Sure.
Hazelhurst there, number 23. And we got Yurosov, number 11. I like the name. I like the sound of that.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if you can get a favourite player out of this one coming out there. Number 10, that's Neymar. If he's anything like Neymar, the soccer player, he might dive around a lot. But here we've got some other players coming. The goalie, Smart, number 20. The smart man, Webster, 22.
Brothers.
Exactly. So, and is this where we're meant to boo right now?
No, bad.
Boo! Oh, I mean, yay! I swear the cheer was bigger for Australia there. I'm not too sure about how that crack goes. So we've got a very passionate-looking New Zealand guy here with his blue and gold Otago scarf and fist bumping. We should have been fist bumping the Aussies as they came out. What were we doing?
There's a Schneider who just skated out onto the ice. And Schneider is an old Canucks player who was very good.
I see. There's a few people here. There's somebody in a nice Blacks jersey up there. There was a Aussie guy behind us. I like this guy behind us. That's good as well. So there seems to be a diverse collection of both fans from both nationalities, it seems. And we've got a few more passionate New Zealand excited people there. This is the number 20. What's that? No, number 2. Number Stewart. That's Rod Stewart's son out there. Number 2 with the long locks and the mullet. This guy here with the goatee going up there. Look at that.
Yep.
I like the look. It's very very rock star. If I don't say so myself. I mean, looking at them now on the ice, what do you have to say to him?
Stash though.
That's Lane. Oh yes, he has. He's got a very style there. Number 10, Lane. I reckon he'll. It's very 70s, isn't it? Like he's found himself a nice look to go out on the ice with everything here. So
another one. Must be the playoff facial hair or something.
You know, he kind of reminded me a little bit of your brother, number 11 there, Joyce, with the way he kind of had a look there. No?
Nah.
Didn't see it. I'm surprised not to see a few more NHL-based colours here. We saw a Toronto Maple Leafs toque before. But this is quite exciting now to be able to see them out on the ice. I'm not liking these jerseys, though.
No, I don't either. I actually like the Australian ones much, much better than the New Zealand ones.
I have to say, the Australian ones don't look that crash hot when you go to their merchandise store, but when you see them in person, they are quite a significantly better, I should say. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I also notice how the sections over there where they've got their benches aren't exactly glassed off or covered off either. So it's kind of, I thought it might have been a little bit more fancy than that, but maybe they can't have everything in Queenstown. They do have an American flag too.
I know, I just chose to ignore it.
Now, I think that this is going to be a very interesting evening in terms of looking at these players, because some of them look very short and thin, and there's not really any. There's number 4 over here for New Zealand. I think he's got the wrong sport. Schneider. He should be a basketball player, I feel.
Yeah, maybe.
Very, very tall. Anyway, I'm excited to see how this plays out. Any last-minute predictions here now that you've seen them enter the arena, not just based on the way they look in terms of fashion, like you actually think, looking at the players' skill set, anything that this changes your opinion on how this is going to go?
I still want to cheer for New Zealand.
I don't want to sit with you if you start cheering for New Zealand. Can I go sit with the Australians behind us?
No, I'm not sitting by myself.
Well, you're going for New Zealand, so I feel like you should be. We will maybe do a bit of commentary, come back and do something else a little bit throughout the game at some point. But go Australia.
Sure.
Thanks. I've managed to find an Aussie fan. His name is Kane. Kane, first of all, welcome to the program.
Oh, thanks.
How? Well, first of all, are you a local? Are you living in Queenstown? Have you travelled over for this? What are you here for?
Yeah, living here only. We moved back here in May, so I've only been here for a few months now. But we left about 5 years ago and get right into our hockey. My wife's Canadian, so we follow the ice hockey religiously. I'm a Calgary Flames fan, but yeah, we follow the local Stampede, and now we finally get to see the Aussies play on the ice. So
we're originally in Australia. Whereabouts are you from?
From the northwest part of Australia, in a little town called Dampier, or a town nearby Karratha. So it's a bit warmer over there, but I enjoy the cold weather.
Now, you said you're a hockey fan. You're a smart man being a Flames fan, obviously. I mean, this is obviously then pretty exciting to be able to come along here, not only support Australia, but I guess being able to see some international hockey here in Queenstown.
Yeah, it's great. I've got a little 18-month-old, so it's good to get him to see hockey and get on the ice as well. So, yeah, it's great having this kind of arena here just to get involved in ice hockey.
Now, did you get into the sport because of your wife, or did you like it beforehand?
I was familiar with it. I enjoyed the roughness and the fighting side of it more than anything. But I spent a lot of time in Canada, and that just kind of continued on. But definitely my wife had a fair bit of influence. She loves hockey, so yeah, she had somewhat of an influence.
And I'm guessing, is she originally from Calgary? That's where the Flames loves come from?
Yeah, well, she was born in Calgary, but she's actually a Habs fan, so she goes to Montreal.
Well, I forgot that the Habs, I always get Habs and Canucks confused for some reason. My fiancée right in front of you there, she's Canadian and from BC, so she's a bit of a Canucks fan, but we won't hold that against them. I mean, not everyone can be smart and go for Calgary, right? Like, that's the smart choice.
Yeah, I can understand that. There's a lot of Aussies that go for Vancouver. There's a lot of Aussies go for Vancouver, but
they just go to Whistler. They just like, oh, cool, why not? But look, if they want to be tortured and not win Stanley Cups and things like that, that's fine, right?
Yeah, I can understand that. It's a bit hard being a Flames fan, though. It's been a while, but maybe next year.
Well, at least we can make the playoffs, unlike both those sides. Are you hopeful, though, for a win tonight for the Mighty Roos?
Yeah, it'll be good if they have a win. Well, I'm here for all 3 games, so hopefully at least we get 1 win. But it's a bit hard on being on the away ice, so we'll just see how we go.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining me, mate, and let's go Aussies, and we hope we can cheer nice and loudly for them tonight and quiet these Kiwis down. They let them only win in rugby. They don't need to win in another sport.
Yeah, true that. We can take this on and they can keep the rugby.
We've talked to an Australian. It's time to talk to a Kiwi. I've got Bob here, and I've never seen a man dressed up so appropriately for a game of hockey. You're in the Ice Blacks jersey. You got your face black and white. You're pumped and ready to go.
I am ready to go.
Would you call yourself the most passionate Ice Blacks, Ice Sticks fan here in the stadium tonight?
Absolutely. I'm here. I'm here for this.
Are you a local? You're from Queenstown? Have you travelled for this?
I'm a local. I'm from Queenstown. We got some of our Queenstown boys on the team, so it's going to be a great night.
Are you confident of a victory? Obviously, you guys won this last year, didn't you? So you want to keep this trophy?
Yeah, I am. I think the Aussies are going to bring something better this time, but we've got a few secret weapons up our sleeve.
Can I kind of ask anything about these secret weapons, or do you want to keep them secret?
Well, I think Liam Stewart is the main secret weapon tonight.
Brings a bit of that rock star mentality to the ice. I mean, the guy looks like a rock star. I mean, he's very fitting of his name.
He does. He's so humble, though. He's so humble. Him and Schneiderman are going to rip the Aussies to shreds.
So as an Aussie myself, I should be carefully viewing those guys, and just if they start, getting stuck into my boys, I really should be worried for the scoreline then.
Yeah, I think so. But I think the Aussies, they got a little caught last year, so this year they're back to prove a point.
And I guess as well, for the pride factor, obviously you guys dominate us in rugby. It'd be nice to keep that dominance in another sport, wouldn't it?
It would. I mean, fair play to the Aussies. They are a better level team than us, but to play New Zealand in New Zealand, that's when the team is the strongest.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes, and I'm looking forward to watching you cheer because, again, you are so appropriately dressed and everything like that. So, is there a specific chant that you do in these games at all?
Oh, Ice Blacks.
Can you give us a really loud "Let's go Ice Blacks"?
Let's go Ice Blacks! Let's go!
Perfect. Oh, we've even got the kazoo going on behind us here. I like this. Well, I'm in the right area to sit near you guys. It's going to be loud, and I appreciate your time on the show, mate. Thank you very much.
No worries, Ben. My pleasure. Good luck to you. And it's going to be a wicked series, I think.
Welcome back to the Brink or the Ben and Malvaride Hour, depending on where you're listening. We are here at, where are we? Queenstown Ice Arena, is that what it's called?
The Queenstown Lyceum.
Yes. At a wonderful game of ice hockey. Sorry, I was debating whether or not wonderful was the right word.
I think it's been pretty decent. We are currently in first intermission. We've got Jeff, the Zamboni driver, having a bit of a spin around.
I may have posted a photo on my Instagram and Facebook and had the hashtags. Oh, do I remember what the hashtags were? One was I want to be a Zamboni driver, and the other one was the Zamboni's driver's name is Jeff.
We honestly might try and grab an interview with Jeff, the Zamboni driver, just to so I can tick that off the bucket list. Prime Ministers of Australia, royalty, and the Zamboni driver. I think that would work well. But the first intermission is just over. The score currently is New Zealand 2, Australia 1. We are sitting at the non-scoring end, it seems. Only one goal has been scored up our end, but that's good for Australia that they are going the other direction this time around because they might be able to come back. We're sitting in a pretty vocal Australian section, I would like to think.
We are.
The New Zealand Ice Blacks. What are the Ice Sticks or the Ice Blacks? Ice something or other. Blacks. I think everything's black here. Are coming out onto the ice right now, and you can hear that kazoo in the background that you heard. What's wrong with what did I said?
Nothing at all.
You're taking that the wrong way, not me, my friend. We should be going down there fist bumping all the players.
We should be. But he's so excited. We couldn't top that.
Second intermission, we will be down there fist bumping all the players and getting excited for them. How does that sound?
So good.
It is my goal to fist bump them and get a photo with the mascot. And here come the Mighty Roos on the ice. You can't make this stuff up that they're actually called the Mighty Roos. Of course they're called the Mighty Roos. Everything's Roos. Something wallabies, kangaroos, socceroos. But we might do a little bit of commentary throughout this. I managed to find a program. I didn't have to pay for it, so I was pretty stoked about that one. I am quite partial to the Queenstown Ice Arena hoodies that they have, but they're $80. Just thought I would shove a little shout out there to buying a nice jumper. You were mentioning before that you feel a little bit colder here than you do at any other ice arena in your homeland.
So much colder here.
And do you think, as I said, that's due to the amount of people, or?
Maybe I'm just acclimatized to the weather, well, in Australia.
Possibly. We're about to see the puck drop here in the second period, and it's quite vocal. This is quite a rowdy little crowd here in the Queenstown Ice Arena. I like to call it the Queenstown-Lyceum. We used to have the Glenorchy-Lyceum back in Hobart, and this is the Glenorchy-Lyceum. But we mentioned, I think, before, and if we didn't, we'll mention it now, that Rod Stewart's son plays for the New Zealand Ice Blacks. He's wearing number 2. What is his first name?
It is Liam.
Liam Stewart. Of course, son of Rod Stewart, and Rachel Hunter, I believe, is his mother. But you and I have noticed some of these players are very well equipped to the hairstyles and the mows and everything else going along the lines. There's a lot of locks flowing out the back of those helmets, aren't there?
They are doing their best to look like hockey players.
Australia has the puck at the moment, and there's a bit of an opportunity here going on. Number 9 there, I think that's Daj, has the ball. So it's been a long time since I've commentated this sport, and I'm calling it a ball. Well, that's a bit of a mistake. The mascot's to the left of us here, Mallory. What's going on? This is our opportunity. We'll have to hold on to it. I will say we're not in the best position for commentary because when it goes to the left side, we can't see a lot. You want to try and give a bit of a play-by here? Just give me an attempt here.
I really don't, because I know I'm going to be bad at it.
Australia are right up their end right now, and they're having a bit of a sniff around the New Zealand half of this rink. And as I said, we're in a very awkward position to do any form of commentary because basically at our end we cannot see one side of the rink to the other. But when they come up this side, as number 23 here for the Mighty Roos has a long pass into the neutral zone towards Kasloff is that for the Mighty Roos, who can't quite find his man. But Australia's been doing a lot of this, keeping possession, and just seems to be fiddling around slightly with the puck and not having some opportunities.
As I said earlier, as a team who is 4 slots above New Zealand, they are not playing like they are 4 slots better than New Zealand. 36
in the world versus number 40 in the world, of course, Australia and New Zealand. But New Zealand an opportunity here. Number 18, Eden's waiting for the puck. He's in a very good position. But Australia, 24 for New Zealand, who definitely should be playing for the other team, if you ask me, did not able to pass that puck in time.
I would be curious to know who the other 3 in between Australia and New Zealand are in the world rankings.
If you get your phone out, you can probably find that out on Wikipedia. They do. I was looking at those rankings earlier today, and you think I'd be able to tell you that, but I could not tell you that. And Australia maintaining possession right now in their side of the rink, but New Zealand on a bit of a breakaway here. Oh, and a big hit right in front of me. Hazlehurst.
There goes Jeff.
23.
You're missing your chance to interview Jeff.
I'm more concerned about the welfare for our New Zealand friend right in front of us. I think he lost a couple of teeth and a couple of eyeballs there. That was a massive hit in front of me. I'm sorry there's not blood on the glass, but that's what you want to see when you're this close to the rink. There was a big hit right at the very beginning of this game, and you exclaimed that was not hockey. As soon as this game started, there was a massive hit off the plate.
As soon as this game started.
Now, Canada is number 1. I was correct on that before I just saw those rankings. New Zealand maintaining possession of the puck here, just slowly trying to build up a shot. They're in the neutral zone with it at the moment, and they're just trying to go along the board slightly, but they can't quite get it. Number 12 there, Lee's just fallen on his tush. Who are number 37, 8, 9?
First of all, your rankings are incorrect. Australia is currently 35th, and New Zealand is 40th.
A one-off.
And 36 is Mexico, 37 Belgium, 38 Bulgaria, and 39 Georgia.
Interesting. Belgium is a country that I would assume would be a lot higher, sort of surrounded by the likes of Germany and France, sort of winter-based countries that I think would probably do a little bit better in that, but there we go. Not quite the way it is. Boyle for Australia passes the puck up along the boards, and a big hit just behind New Zealand's net there. Again, it's getting a bit physical in this period.
Physical.
Webster for Australia, though, manages to put the puck over the boards. Unfortunately, not in the area where we are. And we have a face-off and a line change, and the crowd goes wild for Liam Stewart. Not a single utter of a cheer in the crowd there. There was more cheering at the Glenore Coliseum back in Hobart. I just want to point that out. As the puck goes back now to Webster. Has a very long shot, and it's deflected by the New Zealand goaltender, who I believe is Kasaba Kirko Magos, who I have to say, if he had any more names, he would be called the phone book. I think we're just going to call our goaltender for the New Zealand the phone book. What do you reckon?
Well, I think it's a great name for him.
We like to give our nicknames to our goaltenders, and a big special shout out to Joel the Glove Richardson back in Hobart, who I'm sure is missing playing for the Falcons. I believe he's no longer playing for the Falcons, which is a bit of a sad opportunity. Number 3 there for New Zealand, Amston, has a bit of a shot and goes wayward of the net. And it's slowed down the pace of this game slightly. I think we don't quite have the speed that we had in the first period. Both teams eyeing each other up. Number 9 for Australia has a shot at goal, and the phone book saves it.
I think someone got told off during intermission for too many hard hits and penalties.
Number 9 for Australia is the esteemed Wahibi Daj, otherwise known as Daj the Barge. And if you're looking for a man to pull your tugboat, Wahibi Daj is the man. And play resumes here at the Queenstown Ice Arena. Bit of a chase on here for the puck as Bremner for Australia gets straightly to it. Australia for New Zealand falls down, and he can't quite get the puck back. And a magnificent mullet here by Pataki for Australia. I've got to say, mullets on ice hockey players, it should be more of a thing, Mallory.
Yeah, no.
The way it flows out the back of that helmet, I reckon he uses some Head and Shoulders to get some shine to that. It's fantastic. Long shot there by the Mighty Roos. Oh, the phone book is flipping his pages to make sure that he stops every single shot. And my man Pataki with the mullet just tries to put a long pass to Bremner, but he can't quite get it. And here's an opportunity now for the Ice Blacks. As there's an opportunity here. Eden directly in front, can't quite get his stick to the puck. Elliso on the rebound. Quick little shot away. He's still fighting his way through it. Webster for the Mighty Roos controls that puck and gets it back to another mulleted man, Hazelhurst, who just lobs it long, and a chance there for Australia. Have another shot. Can't quite get it. They're getting a bit hungry here, the Mighty Roos. They're thrashing about. And a long shot there goes for the assistant captain, Jamie Woodman. And not quite on target. Australia with the opportunities, but New Zealand pounced them straight away. Eden for the Ice Blacks can't quite get it, and Australia will just slow it down here. Webster, pass back to Newark. Lovely little pass back. It's Woodman, sorry, not Webster. And there's just no one up there for a show. What's going on?
I don't think they're aware of where each other are.
No, the vision here from Australia, like, is it the mountain air around here in Queenstown? Is it the pressure? They've had a long flight, 3 hours. And right in the crease there, the phone book once again shuts up shop, and we will have a face-off in front of New Zealand's net. 13 minutes to play. New Zealand still leading 2-1. Scoreless in this period. And the crowd getting involved here. Lots of dancing going on here, Matt. Do you feel like you're at home with dancing in hockey?
Yes.
Or is dancing not a thing that we should be having in hockey?
No, sometimes.
Sometimes?
Not as much angry yelling, I don't think. Like, there is angry yelling, but, like, you guys are just a special kind of angry yelling here.
Our New Zealand fan that we interviewed earlier is very bi-patriarchy. That's not a word, but I just made it up. With his cheering, because he started a few Aussie chants before, so he's trying to get the Aussies involved, but there were some loud cheers, and a long pass back here, and we'll be icing is the call any day of the week, if you want to say, and we will have the puck back towards the New Zealand net. Looked like you wanted to say something.
I was going to tell you that I really need to pee, but I don't know if I need to tell you that out loud. Oh, look, Jeff's coming back. Get in.
Go grab him. I'm talking. Go grab him. Go get him.
What? No.
No, you don't want to? Okay, right, okay. Right, well, just I thought you were about to go down and say, like, Jeff, hi, would you like to do a quick interview with us? But he's a very busy man, Jeff. He's got to go out there. Like, he's probably got to go warm the Zamboni up, check the gears, make sure the tyres are inflated. Are you trying to get past me to go to the bathroom? Okay. Well, this is very live commentary if we're basically saying that Mallory is going to go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, actually, what is happening on the ice, I can tell you, is that there is a face-off just in front of the New Zealand bench in the neutral zone. We have a win there to Australia. Webster gets the puck and passes it back to Boyle. Flowing mullet out the back of that. Then lots of mullets for the Mighty Roos here as Boyle just gets pushed off the play. Tries to find a teammate, but instead turns it over. New Zealand puck, gets on the puck straight away. Lovely little piece of play here by the Ice Blacks. Can't get the shot away. Webster steals it away, and he just shoved off the puck. There you go. The New Zealand crowd loving that one. Number 12, Lee for the Ice Blacks, just gives him the old get out of the way. And meanwhile, they another bit of a shove on the boards there. New Zealand players down, Aussie players down. Chance here for the Mighty Roos have a shot. There is number 5, and he gets it there nearly through the legs of the phone book. He can't quite get it. And some wayward shooting going on here from the Australians. They've had plenty of opportunities and most of the possession in this period, but they just can't quite get it. Goaltender for Australia, Dane Davis, comes out and pads it forward to Malloy. And the puck is stuck behind New Zealand net right now. The Ice Blacks trying to get it clear. Don't have a lot of space here to the Ice Blacks to be able to get a chance up there. And meanwhile, some more players is falling over in the neutral zone. Shot there for the Mighty Roos. Can't quite get it in there. And Webster passes it back along to Malloy, who just gets shoved out of it. New Zealand will retain possession, but they can't quite control it because the puck's gone back into Australia's zone. And here comes Lister Stewart on the breakaway, and the crowd love him. They love the look, they love the mullet, they love everything about him. And I've got to tell you, he is the Ice Blacks' Richie McCaw. A national hero is Liam Stewart, and he just jumped on that puck like it was a rock star Bible, and couldn't quite get it there. And a lovely shot there by Kennedy. Glove save by Davis, and he just passes it off to Woodman. And you can hear the New Zealand crowd trying to get behind their side, but a chance here for the Mighty Roos on the counter. They're not going to be able to get a shot away with that defence. Great work there by the Ice Blacks to keep it out and to prevent any clear shot away from the Mighty Roos. Gets a bit scrappy behind the net, and Australia just cannot get a clear shot away. Meanwhile, New Zealand, on every single opportunity they can on a breakaway. But here's a chance now for Australia, but offside is the call. And we will have a face-off back in the neutral zone. It's very nice to be back here in the commentary box, can I just say, for those listening to us on the Brink. Back when we used to cover all the games of the Van Diemen's League. Previously commentated a little bit on Canada versus USA a few years back, but here we are on the other side of the ditch, just doing a little bit, not doing the full game, just a little bit here. How was the bathroom?
Very good, nice and warm.
Toilet paper all good? Washed your hands?
Yep, all good.
Let's get a bit of play-by-play there from that. Did you bump into the Beast mascot guy?
Sorry?
You see the mascot guy on the way back through?
I did.
You missed a lovely little breakaway from Liam Stewart. He pounced on it and had a shot, and the crowd just went wild. Loved him. But the Mighty Roos here are just trying to get it back towards their half of the rink, but the Ice Blacks are controlling it. And a bit of a misplay there by Australia, nearly and it resulted in an own goal. And Zach Boyle, the mulleted number 2 for Australia, gets it back to Webster, who, lovely clear pass right up the ice to Hayden Dawes. And there's a bit of shoving going on. No love lost between these two countries. The 2 goals that New Zealand scored in that first period came within about 30 seconds of each other. It was very, very quick. And sort of the announcer here didn't even have an opportunity to announce the first goal before the second one went straight in. And Australia scored late in that first period, and we're still 2-1 halfway through the second, halfway through the match, and we are still waiting for that first goal here in the second period. I apologise. And we're going to have a re-face-off, it seems. Is there a penalty going on? No. Face off just to the right-hand side of the New Zealand net. The ref will drop this puck. And face off won by Australia. And the Australian player brought down the net has come off its spot. And referee bugger off will have to fix that one.
I wasn't listening to anything you were saying.
I'm very much used to it. Now the Winter Games, I would love to be able to give you a medal tally update and some results and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not privy to that information. I don't even know if they have a medal tally for New Zealand Winter Games. I would go out on a limb and say New Zealand are probably on top. I believe Australia won a gold medal in curling today, which is not a sentence I think I've ever uttered in my life, nor has anyone. So that's a good situation. But other than that, I don't think Canada's doing very well.
Is Canada a part of this?
Sure, I'm sure there's a Canadian somewhere in the Winter Games. And Australia having a chance at goal here, chopping away, can't quite get to it. The phone book is just spreading those pages wide. Let your fingers do the walking. And the Mighty Roos in defence all of a sudden from one end to the other. Chance here for the Ice Blacks, and a lovely shot there by Clarkson. Doesn't quite go in the way. Jackson, sorry. I saw the son on the back and I thought it was Clarkson, and I got the son wrong. The son wrong?
I don't know what.
She didn't say anything back. It's fine. Expert comments there by Mallory Foster, esteemed Canadian expert comments. As there's a bit of a hold up on the boards there, and Harrop and Newark fighting up there. Harrop for the Ice Blacks, Newark for the Mighty Roos. Boyle here, I'm loving this mullet. It's giving him a lot of streamline in this period, and he's getting a lot of possession. But as soon as I say that, he's going to go off and have a couple of oranges. Is oranges food of choice for ice hockey players?
I don't think so. I think they'd freeze.
There's nothing wrong with the frozen orange. It adds a bit of entertainment to that when you put it in your mouth, I think. As the Mighty Roos here gets a pass. Here's Malloy. Nearly a Mallory, but Malloy, the stick has snapped. Malloy has lost a stick. And judging on the budgets of both these teams, I think he just cost the Australian Ice Hockey Federation about 10% of their budget with that broken stick. So he'll be, no doubt, shouting drinks on the way back home, win, lose or draw. I'm sure if that stick breaks in Canada, you've just got 30 of them up your jacket sleeve. Like, that's pretty easy. But Australia, they're at a premium.
Yep.
Now, our Beast Man, the mascot, is getting involved here. Oh, he's bashing some crew members there. That's good for him. Now, I feel like he's very bipolar, this mascot, in terms of he's energetic 5 seconds and then all of a sudden he just decides not to be energetic. I feel there needs to be some more energy in him, don't you think?
What?
There needs to be some more energy in him?
Yeah.
The mascot?
Yep.
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 Yep. It's been a very stalemated period here. The opportunities definitely come for Australia with only one real clear opportunity for New Zealand, but definitely lost some speed here. Hazelhurst has a long shot at goal, but the phone book catches it. That's on about letter M, I think. I think that's the M section of the phone book that he got that one in, just slightly past the L. What's your favourite page of the phone book?
I don't know, the Foster page?
I'm not a fan of the beer, though, so I'm not a fan of the beer.
The what?
The beer. It's a beverage that you drink. It's alcoholic.
What beer?
Foster's. The joke.
Oh,
Foster's. Beer.
Yeah, I get it.
Let me explain more.
No.
You've never received that joke in your life, and you lived in Australia, and you're marrying Australian. Chance here for the Ice Blacks. Focus on the game here. Schneider's waiting for the puck. He's not going to get it. There's going to be a shot there by number 15 for New Zealand. That's Harford. And another shot there. Nearly gone through. It's in! Oh! Was that Stewart? Did he get the touch on it finally? I'm not too sure, but somehow it went in, and somehow New Zealand celebrate, and somehow it's 3-1. What's happening, Mallory?
We suck.
We do. Do we want to take on Mexico, Belgium or Georgia at the moment? I think we might be having more luck.
Maybe.
The Australians look dejected. They look absolutely ashamed right now. And I have to say, as an Australian sitting in this crowd, I'm feeling the shame as well. As a Canadian, how are you feeling? You're going for New Zealand.
Sorry?
You're going for New Zealand.
I chose the right team apparently tonight.
Apparently. We are 7 minutes away from the end of this period, and Australia now, all of a sudden, we've got New Zealand once again closer to their net. Now Australia can have a breakaway. Oh, and down goes number 16 for Australia. That's Liam Mainwaring, just brought down in the centre ice with a chance here. Long shot and goal. Oh, it's just deflected straight off the phone book, nearly rolled back into the net. Would have been the perfect opportunity to come straight back into it, but wow. They just look more hungry, the Ice Blacks. They look like whenever they get the puck that I think it's a cheeseburger and they've got to devour it in the space of 5 seconds.
Yum, cheeseburger.
I shouldn't mention that, should I?
Nah.
Webster got the... Stewart, sorry, got the assist. No. Yes. I wasn't listening. I'm clearly paying attention. I'm like Mallory here. I'm paying attention a lot to what's happening right now. 6.5 minutes to go. New Zealand leading this one 3-1, and Australia got a lot to do. They're going to need to get another goal here before the end of the second period if they've got any chance in the third, because they just have not looked like they are capable of scoring a couple of quick goals. New Zealand, with that goal, have definitely found some speed here. As from one end to the other, almost a bit of a hook there by number 13 for the Ice Blacks, Andrea Kozak. And he tried to chop away the Australian defender. It's just one end or the other at the moment. And Australia just trying to get something away here. They can't quite get a shot. Nearly an opportunity there for number 19 for the Mighty Roos, Austin McKenzie. But he was just patted away at the last moment. New Zealand now trying to counter every single opportunity that Australia has. Hazelhurst for the Mighty Roos. Passes it off to Webster, who tries to get a shot. The Aussie trying to get through the crowd here to get him spurred on a little bit. And I do believe that's been started by our Kiwi friend over there, who doesn't exactly know how the end of that Aussie, oi goes. Is there a Canada chant at all?
Nah.
Sorry. E. Start that. Australia just once again trying to get some shots away, but just not finding the net, and the phone book is blocking every opportunity that comes his way. Meanwhile, an icing call as the puck goes right in front of us. 5:07 to play in the period. I'm going to ask you a very loaded question. Are you ready? Are you set?
Yep.
What do Australia need to do right now to turn around their fortunes?
Sorry, I missed the question.
What do Australia need to do right now to turn around their fortunes?
Start getting the puck passed to one another and actually receiving passes, as well as a little bit of an urgency would be good.
Do you also think they maybe need to score a couple of goals?
Well, yeah, I thought that was obvious.
Some people listening don't know the obvious. You know, you got to say the obvious sometimes to educate our listener.
I'm sorry, the answer is score at least 4 goals.
4 goals. I think, yes, no, you're right, because I can do the count. Although if they got 3 goals, they would still lead.
True.
But 4 would be nice because it would be a 2-goal lead. Boyle for the Mighty Roos can't quite get past his fellow number 2 in Stewart. Schneider gets a lovely pass to Chalice for the Ice Blacks. Now Chalice with the puck tries to pass it back to Stewart, but then Stewart wasn't there. I think he was too busy writing a new song or chatting to his dad on Skype or something along those lines. And the Mighty Roos get the puck away. Webster gets it to Boyle. Boyle manages to push his way through some Ice Blacks players, and here's an opportunity now. Boyle can't quite control the puck, and Hayden Dawes for the Mighty Roos gets it back towards Darge the Barge, and he's trying to control it. Gets it cleared away there. Oh, lovely intercept there by Stewart, and here's he go. Here's the man's man. Here we go. Liam Stewart shoots. Oh, it's off the post. Wow. That would have been a famous goal from a famous man. Instead, it's a famous miss. And listen to the crowd roar every time he touches the puck. That was a bit of a miss.
Yes. They're both trying to have line changes right now. It's just...
The man Boyle's gone off again, and he has a chance there for Hay. Has a shot. And Dane Davis, Mighty Roos goaltender, I think he's ready to go off and have a couple of frozen oranges at second intermission. What, have a couple of frozen mandarins? What do you think's on the menu? Couple of meat pies, couple of Fosters. It's a beer.
Yes.
Just jump into some stereotypes, why not? Cheese rolls. We're not that far away from Southland. Here's an opportunity for the Mighty Roos, and they score! There we go. Aiden Salato for the Mighty Roos, and we've got a flag in front of us. That's what we like to hear. Australia pull one back, and we're 3-2. Get on board the Aussies.
Go Aussie.
That's what we want to see. New Zealand should only be good at one sport. That's a World Cup a couple of weeks away. They can keep their Bledisloe Cup. They can... Well, that's it. That's all they've got. I guess they won the Netball World Cup, but, you know, two things. We can't let them beat us in ice hockey. We've got an NHL player. They don't. Not on the ice, but... Do it for Nathan Walker, Australia. I just love... There's silence because I put the microphone in front of Mallory and she has a moment where she goes, oh, hello.
I just don't know what you want me to say. Like,
I would love you to say whatever you want to say. You can sing the Canadian national anthem if you want.
every single time. That's what I'm going to do now.
Okay. Now, number 18 here for the Mighty Roos, Nadine. He's getting a bit of rub in the shoulders and rolling them back, and he's looking ready to pounce here. We've got the face-off directly in front of us here. The Ice Blacks captain, Harrop. It's actually not the captain. It's the way the logo is. It looked like a C, but I apologise. The captain for the Ice Blacks is actually number 23, Nick Craig.
When you guys being the Kiwis cheer for the Ice Blacks, it sounds like they're saying ice blocks, like what you call a popsicle. It's kind of dumb.
Because, bro, that's what we sound like, eh? It's the Ice Blocks.
They're all ice blocks.
I'm very disappointed that the mascot here isn't a sheep. I just assumed that, that would be it. No offence to our New Zealand listeners. The Aussie...
Do sheep stampede? Is that a thing?
I guess they could stampede if you pissed a few of them off enough. Here's a chance for the Ice Blacks. Oh, directly in front. Oh, my goodness. That is a miss and a half. Connor Harrison for the Ice Blacks had a sitter directly in front, and in basketball you'd call that an air ball, and I don't know what you call that in hockey, an air puck.
Ridiculous.
I think even I could have gotten that one. Anyway, Nadine for the Mighty Roos passes it up along the boards towards his teammate, number 11, Vidam Virajosov. The guy that I can't pronounce his name. And meanwhile, he's managed to turn it over. He's our basketball man for the Ice Blacks, number 4. He is a unit and a half. Schneider. Rob Schneider was a carrot. Wrong Schneider. And Australia got 2 minutes here if they want to try and tie this up and make the third period interesting, although the Ice Blacks here could take the lead to 2 goals, but a lovely save there by Davis for the Mighty Roos. And here comes number 11. I'm just going to call him number 11. The man with the name I can't pronounce passes it towards number 23, Hazelhurst, for the Mighty Roos. He's going to take it up along the boards. Tries to find the man I cannot pronounce, and he can't quite get the shot away. The Ice Blacks on the counter. They've got a man here, number 4, Schneider! There we go. That's how you put it in the net when you're directly in front. He was directly to the left-hand side of Davis. He had a gap as wide as the Grand Canyon, and it slided onto his stick in the net. And New Zealand extend their lead once again to 2. And Webster just goes up to Davis and whacks a pad. I'm sure that was a bit of an encouragement, but if I was him, I'm telling him, mate, pick your game up. I'll put on the goalie pads.
I wasn't listening to anything you were saying.
So glad you're in the commentary box with me. You're not singing O Canada.
What?
You're not singing O Canada. Look, pretty colours. Look at them. Mighty Roos had the puck straight away. Can they get the ball goal straight back? But the phone book can't quite do it. And with a minute 15 to go, again, the onus falls on the Mighty Roos to get a late goal here to make things slightly interesting. Opportunity here as they do win the draw, but they can't quite contain the puck because the Ice Blacks have got it back. Here they come for a long shot on goal. Ellis has that, and they seem to like this long shot against Davis. because he does kind of get a little bit wobbly on that long shot. And we're into the final 60 seconds of this period, and the final 6 seconds of our commentary. We'll close it off at the end of this period. But Webster has a long shot. No, there we go. Right from the corner pocket. And he's snookered the Ice Blacks. What a shot. The captain's goal. Liam Webster.
The delay in everyone realizing that he had scored, though.
That was the goal of the night, directly in front of his bench on the blue line, if you don't mind. That is a good 10-metre shot, and boom, in the net. Top right corner. And with 45 seconds remaining, we once again go back to a one-goal game. Get another one here, Australia, and once again we're at a tie game. Has not been tied since it was 0-0. And Australia get a little bit of flair in their skates. Here they go, an opportunity. Here's another chance, and just wide. Number 18 there, Patrick Nadine, can't quite do it. Australia with 25 seconds on the clock, right behind the New Zealand net. Opportunity to get something off here if they can get the shot away, not quite. And meanwhile, the Ice Blacks have a very long shot at goal. They're not going to get that. Now 13 seconds of goal here. Australia turn it over in front of their own net. Long shot there by the Ice Blacks. They're looking likely here, and nearly quick fires away. 3 seconds on the clock remaining, and they're not going to get another shot away here, and we're going to end the period at 4-3. It started off slow, but boy, oh boy, wow, did we get some excitement towards the end there. The crowd cheering. And the players come off to get the oranges and the mandarins and the lemons and the watermelons. We're going to end our little play of commentary here and might do something on post-game. But right now, Mallory Foster, how are you feeling? What are your thoughts? And how's the coldness?
This is great. That's my thoughts. That's my feeling. That's my, yeah.
How are you thinking this game will turn out? If we're closing moments, if we're at a close game, we might call the final moments. But as of now, are you confident of an Australian comeback?
No.
No?
I think they're tired.
You think that's it? It's going to be a New Zealand game?
Yep.
All right, well, we will find out. We will let you know at some point. I think we're going to make sure that we're front and centre for the players as they go back on the ice, giving a few bumps of the fist here and there. And we will speak to you very shortly. Thank you for your expert comment. Welcome back to the Glenorchy-seum. Not really. It's the Queenstown-seum. I teased you. We are 5.5 minutes away from the end of this game between New Zealand and Australia. And currently it is 5-4. The Mighty Roos have come right back into this one. The Ice Blacks got a goal, but then the Australians got one right back, and they're doing all the attacking right now, are they not, Mallory Foster? They're attacking to save their lives, the Australians.
Yes.
It's game one, of course, of a 3-game series. So you drop this, you've got to win the next 2, and makes it a little bit easier for whoever wins this game over the remaining 2. This has been a enjoyable period.
Yes, much more active than the last one.
Very much so. Bit of biff. We had a bit of an incident in front of us where a New Zealand player, he got a stick to the face, did he not?
Yep.
And no call was made. He was very angry and he walked off and smashed his stick into the sideboards, and very angry man. But the Mighty Roos were shooting towards our end here, and they got an opportunity. He's dodged the barge. He's going to try and get a shot away, but it's well covered off by the Ice Blacks. Very well covered off, and just shoves him out of the way there. Does Hay, number 21. He's taking everyone on. He elbows one, elbows the other, and just decides to take on everyone himself. Hazelhurst, he's looking around here, number 23. He's the man to watch here. He's going up to Dowes and saying, get it to me, I know where to do it. He's going to be the saviour here. I'm calling it. Hazelhurst to win.
Okay.
And the Mighty Roos can't keep it towards the net, so they're going to have to take it through the neutral zone, get their players back onside before they can have another push here. As the Ice Blacks definitely doing all the defending in the closing moments of this match. 4:22 to play. There is an icing call against the Ice Blacks. Now this is a classic song. Tell me you know this song. You would have been too young to remember a little Nintendo 64 game called SSX Tricky, which they used this in the promos. It was quite the game, snowboarding.
Ah.
It was great.
What did you say?
SSX Tricky. It was a snowboarding game on the Nintendo 64.
No.
No? All right. Well, we'll get it one day. Webster for the Mighty Roos. Flicks it back. Oh, and he just gets it a little bit too far there. Tries to find Daniel Pataki. Meanwhile, here's Webster. Gets it back now towards his teammate in Vrasakov. Guy, I can't pronounce his name. I did a pretty good job of that one, I think. And the Ice Blacks are on the counter. They don't have their speed man out there in Stewart, so they're going to have to try something differently. Whoa, and off the play there. There's got to be a penalty, surely, and there will be. A bit of a slash going against the Ice Blacks there, brought down the Mighty Roos in the neutral zone, and no penalty. Play on. Well, I thought the arm was up there for a delayed penalty, but it is not. So the crowd, Aussies around us, not liking that one. But an opportunity here for the Mighty Roos. Gets it towards Webster, just to the left-hand side of the net. Can't find someone in the centre there to get the shot away. And then, nearly a stick to tap it in there for Australia. Jonathan Bremer couldn't quite get it. And now there's a bit of conversation happening between the refs and the players. Getting a bit heated out there. A few missed calls, do you think?
Just one. Maybe two.
You don't think that was a penalty?
Maybe five.
Maybe five? Refs put away the whistle here. They know it's a tight game to close it off, and they don't want to have any controversial moments here that might cost a game winner. And the Ice Blacks are very fast on the counter. Every single opportunity they get, they do that, and they've been very strong on that all night. Just biding their time, defending away. Here's an opportunity, though, for the Mighty Roos. Long shot there by Boyle. Can't quite get to it. They'll regroup in the neutral zone. Patting it away. Oh, terrible pass there by the Mighty Roos. And here comes the Ice Blacks, but they can't quite break through the Aussie defence. Strong wall there by the Mighty Roos. And, nearly an own goal there for the Ice Blacks. That was a bit of an awkward moment there for number 16. That was Mitchell Freer. He kind of just mishandled the puck, and luckily for him, the phone book was able to handle that one slightly and not let it go back. 2 minutes 22 remaining. The Richie Beno time on the clock. And at what stage do you think the Mighty Roos might pull their goalie?
Not yet.
Not yet? Too early?
Definitely yet.
Well, the puck is right in front of their net right now, so it would be suicide by goal right now. Meanwhile, the fan favourite, Stewart, is back on the ice for the Ice Blacks, and he's looking speedy. But he can't quite get to it now. Meanwhile, Davison for the Ice Blacks. So the long shot from the blue line goes over the top of the net, hits the glass. The Mighty Roos are able to retain the puck. Lovely little pass there towards Woodman. Gets a little flick back there for the Mighty Roos, right in front of the net there. Number 6. And couldn't quite get there. That's Metnan. The crowd getting involved here with 90 seconds on the clock. The Mighty Roos doing everything they can to try and get an equaliser to force this game into overtime. But they just can't seem to form a line together enough to flick this up towards their offensive net. Meanwhile, here's an opportunity for them. Hazelhurst, what did I tell you, my man? And he shoots and he saves by the phone book goalie. Bit of shoving, meanwhile, in the crease going on. And it's on here all of a sudden. We were talking before about how there was a little bit less fight in some of these players and some of the matches we've seen, but all of a sudden with a minute 10 on the clock, not liking something going on there are the Aussies. And this is what we want. Bring back the biff.
The biff.
Bring back the biff. And it's a penalty, is it? No? They're just line changing it up. I thought that Dart the Barge had been sent off, so New Zealand changing things up. And there's something going on here. Do we have what is happening right now? The players have gone to the bench. The referees are having a conversation.
Was a timeout called or something? Or are they just making a decision on whether or not?
I'm guessing it must be a timeout. I don't know that they had timeouts in this type of hockey. I know they have it in hockey, but I haven't used any. Well, there you go. Okay, well, I guess that works. 70 seconds on the clock. And a timeout called. The first time all evening we've had a timeout, hence why I was a little bit confused there as why that's happened.
There would be a timer if it was a timeout, though.
I think there was a countdown clock. I did see a small one up. 70 seconds, here we go. 5-4 the score. New Zealand lead this one in the first game of the Trans-Tasman series. And I wonder if Davis is going to remain on the bench for the Mighty Roos. He is. So 6 men on the ice right now for the Mighty Roos. They've pulled the goalie. It's empty net right now for the Ice Blacks. Here we go. The crowd really starting to get themselves pumped up. There is a face-off to the right-hand side of the New Zealand net. Face-off won by the Ice Blacks. That's what they needed. But they've passed it straight back to Darts for the Mighty Roos. Right in front of the nets there. Whoa, great shot on the goal there by Kazov. Couldn't quite get it through. Fighting on the boards here. Here comes Darts. Can he get the shot away? Through 2 players. No. Empty net shot. Surely here with the Ice Blacks. They're going to win it with this shot. All the way through there. And there it is. Number 22 for the Ice Blacks. Jordan Chalice, the assistant captain, got the puck away as the Mighty Roos couldn't control possession. Empty net goal with 45 seconds remaining. I'm going to say good night, Gracie.
Yep.
Well, anything can happen in this sport, but with how things have played out tonight, you got to admit that the Mighty Roos have probably got a bit of a steep mountain to climb to turn this over. The crowd are loving this. Chelsea Dagger playing in the background. And unless the Mighty Roos can get a very, very quick goal here, the first game of this series will go to the Ice Blacks as they look to retain this trophy. And it was a great performance from the Ice Blacks to get this first game in the series and really put their authority on this for their home crowd. Lots of Aussies here, though, cheering on the Mighty Roos, but unfortunately it's not going to work for them. 13 seconds remaining on the clock, and it is a stoppage in play. Have you enjoyed the evening so far? Well, not so far. The evening's about to end. Have you enjoyed the evening?
It was a wonderful evening.
Was there any particular highlight of the evening? There's a big collision. Sorry about that. Atwell and Bremner just came together. And with 1 second to go, there's the game. New Zealand win 6-4. The Ice Blacks take the first of the series in a very entertaining match, it has to be said. Mallory, sorry, your highlight of the evening.
Jeff the Zamboni driver.
Jeff the Zamboni driver.
Without a doubt.
Is he your man of the match?
Yep.
And disappointing for Australia at the end not to come away with this, but they've got 2 more to come out. We're not going to be here for the next 2 games, but can you see Australia turning this around?
No.
Flat out no.
Flat out no.
I'm disappointed, but hey, I like your honesty. I appreciate it. This has been fun getting behind the mic and calling some of this again. Obviously, it was a bit of a trickier one to call this evening, given our viewpoint and just the perspective of the game. But we hope you've enjoyed some of this, and we hope you enjoyed this part of the show. And I'm sure we will conclude a little bit more on the road tomorrow. Thank you, Mallory, for your presence and your beauty in being in the commentary box with me.
Thanks, Ben.
We're getting ready to close out this on the road episode as we are travelling back from the town of Queens on a very wet Friday. Are we halfway yet?
I reckon close.
Nearly halfway. It's raining, so it's, geez Louise, that truck, a lot of spray on the car. Big milk truck just went past and we got a bath, but luckily we're in a car. Did you have an enjoyable burp?
Yes.
Did you have an enjoyable 24-hour period away?
It was lovely.
What was the highlight of the trip? And I know what you're going to answer, but that's fine. You can answer that.
Kmart.
Now, tell our listener about what we may or may not have gone a bit crazy at our times at Kmart?
Well, it happened to be the right day to go into Kmart because clearance is on at the moment. I assume it's like their winter clearance time. So we got a lot of things for very good prices. That being said, a lot of things for very good prices is still a lot of things, which makes a lot of money.
Now, we talked earlier about how we'd love to be sponsored by Kmart. We're 93 kilometres away from Invercargill, by the way. And I think, judging on the stuff we got, we still should be. To put it in context, I bought a fairly decent jacket, a
Winter jacket,
a sort of a, what would you say, like a waterproof kind of...
like a dressy raincoat.
Like a dressy raincoat, as well as a puffer vest for $17. All three for $17. And you add on that like an exercise shirt was what, $2? You got a Back to the Future t-shirt for $5. A Hakuna Matata t-shirt, that was $12. I got a shirt for me to wear to the Symphony Orchestra on Thursday, and then also another shirt which, well, it fits me, but it's extremely tight, but it will fit me hopefully in a month or two for our
engagement wedding thing
in Australia. Quite a nice shirt, so we'll see how that goes. So what was that?
I'm talking to myself.
She's talking to herself. I'm used to doing that on this show. It's all good. So yeah, we got ourselves some nice bargains. We got some pillows, which was nice. I got some deodorant, which was nice. I bought a duffel bag. I don't know why we're sharing this with you. Like, this is
spatula.
We got a spatula, which is exciting. So that was the extent of that. And is that hailing right now? We're very heavy rain. You probably hear that in the background. Props to our Airbnb hosts as well too. I think it was George and Davina. For a lovely little place. They even offered to make us breakfast this morning, which I'm sure if we weren't on keto, we probably would have accepted, would we not have?
We would have.
Very, very nice when people do that. But no, we added props to them. I enjoyed the hockey. I didn't enjoy the result, but it was still a good night. And overall, it has been an enjoyable two days. Not really 2 days, 24 hours. But as I said to you before, it very much feels like we were away for longer, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I think that's a good thing. Makes it feel more like a mini vacation.
Sad that it was not longer, but yeah, no, it was good. It was nice. So that's been the extent of this episode. You've heard some commentary, you've heard some fun. It's been a nice road edition of the Brink. It's been a while since we've done this, but we'll probably take this on the road with us back to Australia. We'll see how we go. We may or may not do that, but either way, that sheep has a bird sitting on its back. Just thought we'd want to share that little fact with our listening public. Miserable day today in the south part of the South Island of New Zealand. There's a whisper about snow on Sunday when you're hearing this, so if by all means it snows, you won't know any difference because we wouldn't have updated anything, so you'll have to somehow be psychic and Google that shit, apparently. In the meantime, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe, all the relevant channels. Listen to the Ben and Mal Variety Hour, Radio Southland, 8 p.m. Wednesday evening, replayed 6 p.m. on a Friday evening. You can also listen to the Oz Network, now available via all good podcast servers. 007, now available via all good podcast servers. Euros Vision, now available via all good podcast servers. Off the Podium, now available from all good podcast servers. And the Qualifying Lap, even though the other ones haven't been updated in a while, that one hasn't been updated in probably over a year, so we're going to reboot that and do something new with that. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I'm going to close this off by putting the microphone in front of this beautiful person's face to say the following.
Good night, Hobart Cargill.
Keep sucking those oranges, Hobart.
Oh yeah, that.
And
good night.